Hi, I'm Mark with Crown & Caliber, and welcome to Hidden Gems. Watches started out as tools. They had a purpose of measuring things, measuring time, laps, to time zones. But with today's technology, they're not always the best at a task. In fact, mechanical watches aren't. But the Breitling Emergency might be the last true tool watch. So let's get into it. So the Breitling Emergency. When you go to a Breitling AD, this is not what's going to be in the case. This is a different kind of watch. Its primary use is as a tool that no other thing does as well or is as small as this one. It's a personal locator device. What that means is if you're anywhere in the world and you're suddenly in need of rescue, it has built-in antennas that you just unscrew the caps, pull them out. It'll actually send a signal to a US-Russian agency that works together to monitor satellites to find you and with the signal that this sends out. That's incredible. But what's more incredible about it is there's no personal location device that's this small. There's none that are that easily carried around. It's impressive what Breitling did. They didn't just create a watch like anyone else. They didn't create a tool like anyone else. They went and found a problem and solved it. Because sometimes when people are out in the ocean or flying or in a helicopter, the personal location device doesn't necessarily stay with them or function or falls off the raft. This is one that's wearable and useful and has been used. So a great example of one of its uses is there's a helicopter pilot, Quentin Smith. He decided to fly from the North Pole to the South Pole in a helicopter. And that's a crazy thing to do, but if you've seen the guy, you kind of go, yeah, that's the kind of person that would do that. And he made it most of the way, but unfortunately, when going between Chile and Antarctica, there's a stretch of water called Drake's Passage. It's one of the most inhospitable, windswept, rough seas, full of iceberg places in the world. And the helicopter didn't make it. As he was crashing, he was able to get the helicopter land pretty well in the water. And his co-pilot jumped out, got the raft going. He was swimming to the raft. But unfortunately, during that chaos, the personal locator device they had fell to the bottom of the ocean. But thankfully, he had a Breitling Emergency on him. Pulled the wires out, and within 9 hours, actually was located in the most inhospitable place in the world and was rescued. And there's no other way that would have happened if he didn't have this watch on him. And he's one of 20 people in which this watch has saved their life. That's not something you can say about another watch. Now, Quentin was wearing the Emergency 1, which was great for its time. But as technology changes, so did this. We upgraded the universal signal that's used to a new frequency. And with that, the Emergency needed to change, and the Emergency 2 came about. But that itself was a very impressive thing, because when the Emergency 2 came out, the smallest personal locator device that worked on the new signal was about the size of a Breitling watch box, not a watch. Breitling themselves had to spend 5 years developing an antenna system that would fit inside a watch. And then they hadn't have a battery that would work. No commercially available battery would actually power the watch for more than 50 minutes. So they had to create their own battery that would last at minus 20 degrees Celsius for 24 hours in order to produce the signal that would save somebody's life. And you have to give them credit. There are other companies out there that when they make a watch, they improve a little hairspring or a little gear. They made leaps and bounds for personal rescue technology and battery technology just to make a survivor watch. That's really cool. But on top of that, it's not just an emergency beacon. It's also a really good watch. It has the Breitling Super Quartz in it, which is a temperature compensated, cost certified, the plus or minus 20 seconds a year movement. That's not your Timex or your mall brand Quartz. That is a real solid modern technology quartz. If you want to talk about a quartz that should be respected, the Breitling Super Quartz is definitely that. So as it's a Breitling Super Quartz, it also means it does 24-hour clock, it does stopwatch, it does alarms, it does everything you want a quartz watch to do, does it through one single crown to make function easy and doesn't add a bunch of buttons to it. It provides for clean lines on a really nice watch. For a watch that has to serve two purposes. When you're in an emergency, you don't want a whole lot sticking out. You want to be able to get to those antennas and know where they are. And on top of that, because it's large and because you're going to be wearing emergency situations, it's water resistant to 200 meters. It's titanium, so it's lightweight and won't weigh you down. Things that are very important in a watch, it's not just about being a timekeeping device, but it's about being an emergency survival item. And for all of that, being the last true tool watch, the Breitling Emergency is a hidden gem. So thanks for joining me today as we talked about the last true tool watch / super quartz / lifesaver that is the Breitling Emergency. See you next time on Hidden Gems.